So recently I've seen a big uptick on our site in regards to one of the videos I did around California Prop 10. So I thought I'd go back and revisit that title or that sort of topic and really sort of dig into it and see if California Prop 10 could potentially have, devastating effects on the real estate market, specifically in California. So I wanted to sort of review that and sort of step back. To that end, I sort of had to ask, have we, right, the collective we, ever gone back and sort of changed the real estate investing rules before, right? So have we had real estate investors make a, decision on purchase or hold, and then through legislation, the kind of rules changed? I thought that was an important thing to go back and look at, because I think that's one of the things that will happen if Prop 10 should pass is the rules are different, which would mean that, potentially you would make a different decision. And the answer is, yeah, we did. Actually, back in 1986, there was some legislation gone, and we'll talk about it here in more detail. But the fact is, yes, we have made a material change to investment decisions, specifically around real estate, and it happened back in 1986. So we're going to sort of look at what happened in 86, and then kind of look at the similarities and differences between what did happen in 1986 and what could happen in 2018. And then I'll just close with my thoughts, after sort of doing some deep research on 1986. So the rules changed, right? So California Prop 10, again, I think is changing the rules for real estate investors, specifically on their past investments, right? You made decisions to buy, 2001, 2015, whatever it is, under one set of rules, and then, through no fault of your own, the rules to the game changed, causing you to look at your holdings and go, do I make different decisions? That's essentially what's happening. Again, I think the investors, for the right, for many reasons, made the right call. If they bought, in 2001, 15, just to use the same example, but it may not be the case now that the rules have changed. And again, we've done this before, and as you'll see, it had some pretty negative consequences. And again, it's called the Tax Reform Act of 1986. Actually, there were three things that really changed, but we'll talk about the one that had the greatest impact on real estate here in a minute. So the Tax Reform Act of 1986 rule eliminating deductions of so-called passive investment losses. In short, this is where your doctors or dentists or lawyers or whoever, high net worth individuals or high W-2 individuals specifically, were taking losses from real estate, mainly around depreciation, and washing it against their W-2 income. That has been eliminated. We call it the passive investment losses. When that ability to do that changed after this act was imposed, suddenly, doctors and dentists and attorneys, they didn't want to hold real estate investments because the rules changed. When you go back and look at it, many articles that I read, Forbes and Fortune and other sources, cited that the 1986 Tax Reform Act was a major contributing factor to the collapse of many savings and loan institutions. Right before 1986, savings and loan institution, right, banking, made real estate loans to individuals, right, high W-2 earners, and then when the rules changed, those people, had to sell out, sold for less, or maybe walked away, and the S&Ls were left holding the bag, and that was not a good thing if you go back and research that real estate impact. Specifically, right, the act, the 1986 Act, reduced the market value for real property, right? That everything was worth less, right? You could own a commercial building, apartment, house, whatever, but you were taking deductions and it was worth X. Just pick a number, 500. After the rules changed, it was worth 350. Whatever. It was bad. It also created incentives to divest from real property, right? Suddenly it wasn't the benefit, but it was like, okay, get out, put your money somewhere else. So again, we created a lot of forced sellers. Then it became harder to divest real estate because not only did we have more sellers, but we actually had less buyers. And the buyers were like, well, why would I want to own that? It's It's not as good as it was yesterday. So again, this act, was supposed to help, and it really reduced the attraction of investing in real estate, housing construction and the like. So these are the things when you go back and you change the rules that, for whatever reason, we don't think about, and I think it's going to it could have a negative impact again. So again, right, the 1986 Act, it closed, quote unquote, a loophole of the rich, right? That was kind of how it was sold and how people got all excited about it, right? Because we're going to go get those rich people. What actually happened in reality is many investors who weren't, technically the rich, just decided to sell, right? They just threw more and more inventory. In addition, a lot of what would have been buyers decided not to buy, which creates that big gap between listings and buyers. And the only thing that can happen, economics 101, when supply exceeds demand, you have to reduce prices to spark demand. So property values fell hard. In this case, the Tax Act was a national or nationwide. It obviously impacted some markets more than others, but it was nationwide. And then again, it was a impetus, or at least an additional weight to the banking crisis or the S&L crisis that happened after this 86. So let's talk about what could happen with California Prop 10. I think this is just being sold on sticking it to greedy landlords, right? It was the rich before, and now every landlord's greedy, which is, it's so not true. It's not even funny, but again, it's marketing, and I think this is what people are going to hear and why they're going to vote yes, because, landlords are greedy, and it's just not the case, people. But I think that's how it's going to happen. I think, the numbers say that a lot of mom and pop landlords that maybe own one or two houses, they're just going to have enough. They're just going to sell. And again, they're going to sell by kicking out the tenant, right? Because they're going to sell their house to an owner occupant. So again, right, you guys think this, Prop 10 is going to help tenants? I'm sorry, you're going to lose, I don't know, pick a number, 10, 15, 20% of rental housing, because they're just going to kick them out and sell it to owner occupants at a depressed price. So they're going to be hurt as well. But if you think your tenants are going to be helped by this, it's just not going to happen. I think the number of rental units is going to fall, and probably fall pretty hard. It wouldn't shock me if it's greater than 15%. Because again, I think when you look at the numbers, most rental housing is single family homes, and single family homes have multiple exits, right? They don't have to be rentals. They can be owner occupants. So I think they're going to be sold to owner occupant, and I think it's going to reduce prices, and I think this is going to hurt. Buyers are going to disappear, right? Where now we have some people coming back to real estate going, I want to be a landlord. I want to diversify. I want to create that positive cash flow. I think a lot of them could just sit on their hands. I think that'll be a mistake, especially if you're buying affordable housing. But, these kind of changes, can cause people to step back. The other thing is, this is only California wide. So who's to say, instead of buying in California, I buy in Texas or Arizona or, Tennessee or, Michigan, whatever. I think we're going to cause a lot of California real estate investors to go, I've had enough with California. I'm going to go somewhere else. So they're going to get their returns, and California is going to be hurt. So I think this could impact unlike the 1986 Act, which was nationwide. I think we could be inadvertently setting up the California economy for quite a fall, and I think we should think about this. So again, this is what I think. First, I suspect the legislation is going to pass. Right, I think it's just a sexy topic to call landlords greedy, and when people look at the different ballot measures and they spend 10 seconds on it, and it says landlords greedy, most people are just going to check the box yes. I think what's going to happen is renters and owner occupants are going to be hurt. Renters are going to be hurt because there's less supply. Owner occupants are going to be hurt because there's suddenly a glut of property on the market, and real estate values are going to fall. Again, I believe Prop 10 will pass, and I also believe it's going to hurt exactly the people voting yes. I think renters that vote yes for this are going to get hurt because supply is going to disappear. I think owner occupants that think landlords are greedy is going to get hurt because their value is going to go down. It could go down for a while. It's just these unintended consequences that we don't look at, and we don't look at the economics of a decision. and it's unfortunate. I suspect we're going to have a wave of property listings in California, and I think that's going to depress prices. I think price declines are going to go on overdrive, right? When if we had any experience of '08, the decline kept accelerating as more and more listings came on, right? So if you're an owner, if you're a landlord, and you're thinking about selling, or you're confused about Prop 10, and then you see prices start to fall, what are you going to do? Are you going to hold on and wait for that to collapse, or are you going to list yours quickly and quite frankly be part of the problem? I think we all know the answer to that. So again, I think California Prop 10 is going to spark more sellers. I think it's going to cause many buyers to hold back buying in California. They actually may buy elsewhere, which is the right economic decision. And I think if this gap is big enough between the number of listings and number of buyers, I think we could have a crash in California. I don't know what you would call a crash. Let's call it more than 10%. I think we could see a 15 or 20% decline if the gap between number of new listings and buyers is large enough. It happened before, and I think it can happen again. So in the end, I think California, Prop 10 is going to have a negative impact on real estate. I know I'm going to be ultra aggressive. I plan to continue being a California landlord for frankly the rest of my life. I just think it's the right thing to do. I think where there's chaos, there's opportunity. But I do think it's unfortunate that the people going to be voting yes for this are likely the people that are going to be hurt the most. So that's just unfortunate.